than Latin. His uncle forbade him to go, and when his uncle found out, he kicked Norbert out of the home. But young Norbert refused to go back to live with his parents. Instead, he became a missionary for the Baptists and sold Bibles on the street. It was not easy to be a Baptist in a place where everyone was Catholic. People were sometimes mean to him because of religious differences. He didn't understand why and felt sorry for others who were treated unfairly. He collected the stories of those treated unfairly and published them in a book called Fragments of the History of Persecuted Christians. He worked for many years as a Baptist minister in Moravia and Slovakia. He was sad to see so many religions emphasizing division and exclusion instead of liberation and unity. He believed that church should really be about love rather than doctrine or dogma. But people were afraid of religion abdicating its role of orthodoxy and control for society. A lot of people called this new way of thinking modernism. The Pope, in particular, the head of the Catholic Church, did not like modernism. In 1907, he condemned it as wrong and said that it would lead to the annihilation of all religion. Even a good number of Catholic priests considered defecting from the Catholic position. Čapek could see that many in his country were unhappy with the way things had been and were ready for something new. He didn't know what it would ultimately look like, but he wanted to help the people discover more love and freedom in their lives. So he contacted the smartest person he knew, Professor Thomas Masaryk. Masaryk understood the Czech people and what they were looking for. And when he met Čapek, Čapek told him that he prayed for a religion with more freedom where all people were welcome. Masaryk reportedly told Čapek, "Why, son, you're not a Baptist, you're a Unitarian." Though still forming in his heart, what Čapek really did believe in was something beautiful and powerful. It began with honoring and appreciating the unique expression within each human being to bring forth goodness in themselves and in others. He believed this was the source of all great hope and courage, and that, he believed, was stronger than fear.
Čapek worked with the Unitarian Service Committee that helped descendants and refugees who could not fit into the confining identity of the Orthodox escape and find freedom. The Service Committee is where the flaming chalice was developed as the symbol of Unitarianism in order to give escaping refugees a sign that the bearers of the symbol believed in freedom. Please recite the words we use here at Mission Peak to light our chalice in solidarity with Unitarian Universalists everywhere. We light this chalice to remind ourselves to treat all people kindly, because we are all one family, to take good care of the earth because it is our home, to live lives full of goodness and love because that is how we will become the best people we can be.
Good morning. Welcome to Mission Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Steve Walcave, and I'm a member of the board. We're so glad that you've joined us here today. Unitarian Universalism is a radically inclusive, non-doctrinal, non-dogmatic, open-minded, and open-hearted faith. We are people who are coming at truth from different paths. We gather together across different identities, experiences, and beliefs to affirm and promote the inherent worth of every person. Together, we see our job is to love the hate out of this world, heal the hurt in ourselves and one another, and to be the change we'd like to see in the world. We use the Zoom chat to share joys and concerns, personal milestones of importance, which will be read aloud after the during the service. Maybe you're here for the first time. We've been reaching out and asking people to bring their friends because we think the world, especially now, needs some friendly places to gather and find encouragement and hope. We have coffee hour after the service where you get to visit with one another in breakout rooms. The worship host will give you more information about this immediately after the service. And it will actually be after our congregational meeting today. In the meantime, we post a link to our weekly newsletter so you can see all the events coming up. We encourage you to join anything that speaks to you. There are a few things we'd especially like to call your attention to. Please stay connected after the service to join our annual meeting where we will elect church leaders and pass our budget. We look forward to exercising our fifth principle. We will have a celebration of John Lander's life next Saturday, June 19th at 10:30 a.m. We'll provide 3 ways to attend the service: on Zoom, sitting inside Cole Hall, or sitting outside Cole Hall on the patio. Next Sunday, we'll have our first hybrid Sunday service in Cole Hall at 10 a.m. We'll also provide 3 ways to attend this service: on Zoom, sitting inside Cole Hall, or outside Cole Hall on the patio, where we have an enhanced audio system so you can hear well out there. We ordained Alex Jensen last Sunday. Next Sunday, on June 20th, we'll celebrate Reverend Alex's ordination with him at noon outside of Cole Hall. We'll serve a light lunch for everyone who RSVPs to me at wallcave@mpuc.org by tomorrow. So please, if you'd like to join us and have a lunch provided, RSVP to me by tomorrow. If you hear or see something in this morning's service that inspires you or makes you laugh or brings you hope, please tweet it or share it on social media or just tell a friend. We're trying to start a wave of love and justice with every gathering. Thanks for joining us.
Chopik's friend Masaryk agreed with him that their country wanted a religion based on freedom and the dignity of all people. He urged Chopik to come to the International Congress of Religious Liberals, what is now the International Association of Religious Freedom. The group met in Berlin, and Chopik attended along with the Sikhs, Buddhists, Taoists, Hindus, Muslims, Jews, and every sect of Christianity imaginable. On a small scrap of paper, he wrote down the words from a speech delivered there. It read,
"We dream of the day when the nations of the West, discerning the nature of God's grace, shall be ready to accept this message, the message of one religion in all religions, the one logos in all prophets, the one word in all churches, the one soul in all scriptures, the one immanent and operant in universal humanity."
Masaryk, seeking the similarities between Chopik's thinking and Unitarian thought, arranged for Chopik to meet with the Unitarian Association Minister of Foreign Relations. Chopik asked them if they would be willing to fund a church in Moravia, but the talks didn't go so well and didn't lead to support. Masaryk later commented sadly that the Unitarian Church was often like a mother unwilling to nurse her children. He asked Chopik to be patient. Chopik, although disappointed, continued to write. He tried to encourage Czech people to cherish and protect the freedoms that they had, and his theology moved closer and closer toward a radically liberal, non-dogmatic Unitarian stance. This is what he had to say in one letter to the Czech people.
"We do not favor dogmas. They are but lifeless formulas. We love reality, whatever moves the mind, the heart, and the muscle. Let us do away with all numbness, all dying ideals. We seek new ideas and new kinds of mental effort. Freedom! That's something we get enthusiastic about. Let's free ourselves from superstition and prejudice, and then the truth in its full beauty will appear. Let us inscribe on our banner freedom of conscience, and let us win battles with it everywhere."
This fascination with religious freedom brought suspicion from his Baptist supervisors. In 1911, they asked for his resignation from the congregation. The government as well expressed grave concern about Chopik's growing liberalism within the Catholic Church, and they were on the verge of declaring him a heretic. In 1913, war broke out. When a friendly police commissioner warned him that he was on the Austrian blacklist, he thought it best to leave the country. But this was not an easy task. By this time, Chopik was married with 11 children. With help, he managed to smuggle his entire family out of Moravia and into the United States, where he was called to the Baptist Church in Newark, New Jersey. But shortly after he arrived, his wife died. And after a few years, his fiery brand of liberalism proved even too much for his U.S. congregation. They accused him of heresy, saying he preached too much about freedom. Although he was declared innocent in his trial, he recognized that real freedom, the kind that could extend to all people, was uncomfortable in society, and it required sacrifices of privilege that were hard to live up to. Everywhere he looked, including in the mirror, Chopik could see good people being punished for being different, and the price being paid by those who called for things to change further.
Yeah, hi. This is Don. Don Ramey. I'm up here in the Oakland Zoo with my friend Sergio. I've known Sergio for about a year now. Back in, I believe it was June of 2020, our church decided to help an asylum seeker with an accompaniment team. And Nueva Esperanza is the organization that put us in contact with Sergio. And it's been a wonderful experience, and I had never known a person from Nicaragua, but I got to tell you, he's a fine example of a person from anywhere. And right now I'm standing in front of the bald eagle exhibit here at the Oakland Zoo. If you've ever been here, there's 3 of them. Sergio has never seen one of them. I don't know if they appear. But one of them squawked when we walked up here, so we'll take that as a greeting. I just want to say that I've gotten way more out of this program I ever put into it, and I think we've been helpful to Sergio. He can tell you a little bit about that. But I encourage anybody who wants to help us continue it. We're going to hold a collection, and we're going to continue to try to support and help Sergio as he moves forward. Thanks a lot.
Hi, thank you. My name is Sergio, and I am from Nicaragua, and I'm being part of this congregation, beautiful congregation, and I'm a asylum seeker, and I'm being here in Oakland for about 1 year, and I really appreciate what you're doing for me right now, the church, and all the people that belongs to that congregation and that beautiful community, because this year had been like a really tough year for me, being really far from my family, but I feel love from you and for all the congregation. Thank you so much.
Don't climb over the fence, okay? That pole.
We come together every Sunday and all throughout the week for more than ourselves. We come to support one another and the ministries that infuse worth and dignity into our children, our youth, our programs of learning and leadership, and our ministries in the larger world, including our efforts towards anti-racism and anti-oppression. This month, as you saw from our video, we are calling for a special appeal to support the efforts of the accompaniment team work with Interfaith Movement for Human Integrity to support those seeking asylum. Mission Peak's relationship with Sergio Jaime has been one of mutual learning and support, but I ask us to recognize this is not a collection just for Sergio or for our accompaniment team. This collection is what Norbert Chopik might have called a down payment on positive change. It's about changing our global culture, turning injustice into justice, taking the impossible and making it possible. Please make a contribution towards the efforts of our accompaniment team by making a check out to MPUUC at the address on the screen. Please put accompaniment team in the memo line. You can also use the bill pay option in our online banking, or drop your check into the Mission Peak mail slot, or pay online with a credit or debit card. Thank you for supporting and sustaining the efforts of our members, friends, staff, and programs. Your contributions make loving, learning, and leadership more possible.
One of the things that allows us to find hope and meaning, especially when times get hard, is the love and the support that we show one another. If you have a joy or a concern that by sharing with this caring community might bring a moment of encouragement or a little resilience, please write it now briefly in the chat. If your need is more personal, you can reach out by sending me or Reverend Barbara an email, and we will respond quickly.
Finally, one last stone for the hopes and hurts still too tender to escape our heart. may, for the sake of love, keep our doors, our hearts, our minds, and our arms open. In the name of providence, which implants in the seed the future of the tree and in the hearts of all people, the longing, love. In the name of the highest, in whom we move and who makes family from each and every human being, in the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice. Let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real family, regardless of any bar or barrier which estranges us one from another. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us. May we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life together. Amen.
Thank you, Sean. That last prayer was written by Norbert Chopik 80 years ago. When the war ended, it brought many changes. People returned to Czechoslovakia, and his friend Masaryk was elected president of the new country. Millions of Czechs, no longer required by law to worship in the Catholic Church, were looking for a new religion. Back in New Jersey, Chopik's life saw changes as well. He had a crisis of faith in his Baptist faith and sought a new affiliation. He began to write more and explore new ideas. He also fell in love and remarried. No longer Baptist, Chopik was interested in finding a church for his family to attend, and each week he sent his 11 children out to explore Sunday schools all over the area. Each Sunday, they would come home and they would tell him what they had experienced, and each time he seemed disappointed. And the next week, he encouraged them to go out to new churches. They ended up finding a church in Essex County, New Jersey, and with the inspiration and support of the minister there and members of the congregation, Chopik tried again to solicit help for the Unitarian Association to fund the start of a congregation in his homeland of Czechoslovakia. This time, he was successful. So with a promise of $200 a month for 10 months from the AUA, Chopik sailed back to Prague and began the task of starting a new congregation. He formed the Prague Congregation of Liberal Religious Fellowship. In April 1922, they had their inaugural service, and a year later, to celebrate their first anniversary, Chopik wrote the Flower Communion service as, quote, a new experiment in symbolizing our liberty and civil partnership. Each member was to bring a flower to symbolize the individual character that they brought to the human spirit. The flowers placed in one vase became a symbol of one spiritual community of many individuals. And then Chopik wrote this.
When they go home, each is to take one flower just as it comes without making any distinction where it came from and whom it represents. To confess that we accept each other as all part of the same family without regard to class, race, or other distinction, acknowledging everybody as our friend who has human limitations and aspirations and wants to be good.
Chopik's message was so well received that his congregation began to grow quickly, to become the largest gathering of Unitarians anywhere at that time on the planet. But as the community became well known, so did his problems. The Nazis had moved into Prague. They were less tolerant of liberalism than the Czech people. The Nazis didn't care for the way that Chapek celebrated diversity, and as he and many of his parishioners persisted, they were also persecuted. Though invited and encouraged to come to the United States as a minister at large for the American Unitarian Association, Chapek declined. He could not leave his people right in the midst of their greatest challenge. He preached against Nazism, but with just enough diplomacy to avoid the direct ire of the disguised members of the Gestapo that were always in his congregation. Besides his preaching, he helped the work of the Unitarian Service Committee, which helped people escape concentration camps and flee to the United States. Throughout everything he did, Chapek kept his message of optimism alive, and his congregation loved him for it and flourished. On his 70th birthday, his congregation gave him as a present a radio. It was against the law to listen to foreign broadcasts, but Chapek did so anyway. Every morning in secret, he would tune in to the BBC and share what he learned with his congregation. His youngest daughter innocently let it slip to her doctor, and on March 28, 1941, the Gestapo raided his apartment as he was listening. He and his daughter were arrested and taken to the concentration camp at Dresden, where they were separated. Despite 2 trials which recommended minimal sentences, Chapek was delivered with a notice stamped on his passport which read, "Return unwanted." He spent a year there before being transferred to the concentration camp at Dachau. In 14 weeks in Dachau, he wrote 7 letters and nearly 70 hymns and worked to encourage the spirits of the prisoners that he met. Norbert Chapek was killed in the Dachau concentration camp on October 30th, 1942. Norbert Chapek lived during difficult times, but he lived with a vision in his soul that constantly asked what the world would look like if we lived for love rather than for power. What if acceptance was the rule rather than exclusion? What if we responded to pain with presence instead of punishment? What if diversity were beautiful instead of threatening? Norbert Chapek tried living this way. He courageously refused to follow the conformity of fear. He lived for diversity, beauty, and the freedom to express it, and he died for others' rights to live that way as well. His story is now our story. Unfortunately, we don't have to imagine the fear and xenophobia that was alive in his time. We continue that fight today. Disarming fear, choosing the good, making beauty where we can. This is how we build the bouquet that is Mission Peak. It is time now for our flower communion, 80 years after he started it. So we invite those in our congregation here this morning to come forward to place a flower in the vase and take a flower with them, and therefore create the beauty of this community by investing themselves. And I will ask Sean to start us.
Good to see you. Good to see you again. Good to see your face again. Good to see you. I've been down on the endless highway. I crossed on the solid line. Now at last I'm home to you. I feel like making up for lost time. Good to see you. Good to see you again. Good to see your face again. Good to see you. I'm the footsteps in your hallway. I'm the suitcase on your floor. When I'm looking down on you, I feel like I know what my life is for. Good to see you. Good to see you again. Good to see your face again. It's good to see you.
Wrapped in a blanket of hope, asleep in a bed of dreams. My step into eternity was not what it might have been, or not at all, for who knows which way the wind is gonna blow. I'm waiting for your gentle whisper. Distant child, my flower, are you blowing in the breeze? Can you feel me as I breathe life into you? In a while, my flower, somewhere in a desert haze, I know one day you'll amaze me. In active balancing, imagining the moment I can be, looking deep into your eyes, are now a mystery, or not at all, for who knows which way the wind is gonna blow. I'm waiting for your gentle whisper. Distant child, my flower, are you blowing in the breeze? Can you feel me as I breathe life into you? In a while, my flower, somewhere in a desert haze, I know one day you'll amaze me. Two hearts in the hands of time, your love leads into mine. I'll be with you together. Distant child, my flower, are you blowing in the breeze? Can you feel me as I breathe life into you? In a while, my flower, somewhere in a desert haze, I know one day you'll amaze me. Distant child, my flower, are you blowing in the breeze? Can you feel me as I breathe life into you? In a while, my flower, somewhere in a desert haze, I know one day you'll amaze me.
Today, we honor our high school graduates and mark this rite of passage with a bridging ceremony signifying their transition into adulthood. Today, we just send one youth into their own future with great joy. We also remind them and ourselves through this ceremony that their connection, their bridge to this community will remain no matter how far they travel or how many years go by. We hope they will always return home to this congregation, who will always be glad to see them. They will always have a home here. Today, it is my great, great joy to welcome Jessica Steele and her parents to come forward for this bridging ceremony. Yeah, you want to come this way? Yeah. Much cheering is happening on Zoom, I'm sure. I'm going to give that to you first. You want to go right here? Perfect. So Jessica has attended our religious exploration classes, which differ from other faith communities in that we do not indoctrinate our children, but encourage them to explore while still teaching them about Unitarian Universalism and our principles. Yeah, come closer to me. I'm vaccinated. She has watched the adults in this community as they've grown up and looked to us to be role models, and we have looked back in return for her to be a role model for us as well. Our hope is that we have nurtured you with enough diligence, respect, and love that you are prepared for the challenges, joys, hardships, and adventures that lie ahead. And now, as you graduate from our youth religious exploration program, as well as high school, yay, and enter this next phase of your life, we would like to present you with a few more gifts from our congregation. Jake, can you hand me that wonderful bag there? Thank you. We wanted to make sure that you could always have the light of this congregation with you, so we want to provide you with this small chalice here to take with you. We want to have a place for you to write all of your wonderful thoughts, ideas, and dreams. So we have a little journal here for you. And because we know it is necessary to fuel young people, we have a little Starbucks gift card for you and a card from Reverend Greg and myself. And this fancy, fancy, fancy Unitarian Universalist reusable grocery bag, because you will probably at some point have to buy your own groceries.
Good point.
We are so proud of you, Jessica, and we are so happy to have this moment with you today. And now I would like to give a chance for your parents to say just a few words in honor of this wonderful celebration of you.
And this is all set to go?
It's all good to go?
Well, those who have known you, Jessica, probably look at you and see the sweet young woman that you are. And then they might be surprised at how much depth there is to you. They may remember, as I remember, your credo and how it made me think. I hope it has made them think about who they are and what it means to be a UU. And I wanted to talk a little bit about determination. When you were in middle school, you belonged to a team that was called Determination. All the kids were grouped into different teams. And when I found out that your team was Determination, I thought, how appropriate, because this is a very determined girl. You remember how she started singing in this church, maybe when she was 8, 9, or 10, and how far she's come. And we are particularly proud of you for devoting yourself to the RE program here and devoting yourself to your studies, especially this past year, which has been, I don't want to use a very negative word, but it's been very tough and not the right environment for all kids to thrive. And you did it. You finished high school, and that is an important achievement that we're very proud of.
Hi, folks. What can I say to sum up a rich life lived so far? I got to know Jessica when she was a very skinny little baby, newborn baby, which is very exciting. And you've come so far. It's wonderful to be part of that. I'd like to thank the MPUUC for having supported Jessica with the RE program, as well as supporting our hopefully improving music performances over time. We try to stay in key and hit the right notes. I just wanted to say I'm very proud of you, Jessica. You've come so far, and I look forward to seeing the woman you have yet to become, even more so.
We also know that when you're raising a teen, it requires some dedication for you to make sure that they're also part of our religious exploration program. So we wanted to offer you a little caffeine as well to continue your journey. And we are just so incredibly proud of you, Jessica. And we're so grateful for Jay and Ilse, your dedication to bringing Jessica to us all the time and having her be a part of our programs and having her share her wonderful dedication with the other youth and young people of this congregation. And we are incredibly blessed by all the talents, Jessica, that you have brought to this community. And we are so intrigued by how many more talents you'll bring as you grow and you learn. And we would like to take just another minute to show a short recorded words from some of our RE volunteers in this little video.
I'm still sort of shocked that Jessica's bridging. Like it doesn't seem that long ago that she was, coming in as the like quietly behind Julia into our youth group, and then she just blossomed with this creativity and music and big heart, and it's gone by so fast.
It's gone by so fast, because when I first started at Mission Peak, she was a 5th grader, I want to say. Yeah. 5th going into 6th, maybe. I was there for her going through OWL and coming of age. And
so I remember, Jessica, when I first started teaching in Sunday RE when Jessica was in 3rd grade. So wow. She had just moved up. So at the time we had a K through 2, a 3 through 5, a 6 through 8, and we had very few youth. So my hope is that we can get some more families to build up to have that critical mass again.
Not only has Jessica touched so many of us here at Mission Peak, but all of her RE volunteer teachers have said amazing things about her and have really appreciated all that you have brought to youth group over the last couple of years. And we have a number of memories and pictures somewhere that we chose not to show today. But someday I have a picture of you in a sheep costume from a play. But we're so grateful to have had you here with us, and we want you to know that as you go forward, this will always be your home. This will always be a place that you are more than welcome to return to, and we hope that you do come back and share with us all that is happening in your life. And thank you all.
You want her to say a few words?
Yes, please, Jessica, if you want to say a few words.
Well, this has been not only have there been so many helpful and kind people here, but this has also been my performance space. So I'm really glad that people have been patient with some of my original songs, and since some of them have been based on my own writing, and I'm sure that people didn't really know what I was talking about, and I'm really glad that I have had the opportunity to perform here. Yeah, I just said that, but yeah, I'm thankful for friends and people that my parents have lifelong friends also here. So yeah, I've been here for like over 10 years, right? Maybe 14 now. No, maybe not that long, but yeah. We've done a lot here. So I'm really, really happy that, like you said, I can always call this place a home, so.
Jessica, there's also a number of comments in the chat that I'll save for you so you can read them later, because I know you can't see them right now, but thank you all again. Oh yes, don't forget your very fancy UU bag. Today, Jessica, you crossed this bridge, and we hope that you go and explore with wonder, that you're patient with yourself and hopeful for your own future and the future of our world. We will always support and nurture you. You have been an inspiration to us all. We are forever grateful for your presence in this congregation, for all these years of your childhood. You will remain with us still in our hearts and our memories, no matter where life ends up taking you. May you be blessed with the richness that life can give, and know that you will always have this community to support you. We're going to take another turn in our journey today to honor some of our RE volunteers from this year. Many people who discover our religious movement say they first came so that their children and youth could have a religious but not an indoctrinated education. As our children and youth grow and discover our religious roots, you too have been on a journey. For some of you, this was a new adventure. For others, a continuing experience. There are no words to express our appreciation for the work that you do with our beloved children and youth. We appreciate all of the time, gifts, and diversity that you are bringing to our religious exploration program. We thank you for bringing both your heart and your mind, your love and your reason, and we know that you have brought your authentic self in all that you do. We offer our deepest gratitude to Alexa Sarton, Corby Dale, Eric Dittmar, and Paul Clifford. Yes, give them many, many applause. You have chosen to teach our children and youth and have had the special blessing of being not only part of their religious development, but a loving part of their memories, for which words cannot express how vitally important your role truly is. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And Reverend Greg and I were lucky enough this week to take some time to celebrate you in a Zoom gathering, and we are so grateful you allowed us to record your messages about why you do this incredible work.
I want to say to start, like, I am just incredibly grateful for all four of you and the work that you've put in, Alexa, Eric, and Paul, dealing with all of our less chatty young people over Zoom. I know that hasn't been easy, and I know we've been going back and forth trying to figure out the best ways to work with our kids over Zoom, and you all have held on with patience like none other to get through providing some kind of support for our young people. And I just want you to know that Greg and I are incredibly grateful, and more specifically, I'm incredibly grateful. This job wouldn't happen if there weren't people like you to work with. There'd be no reason for me to be here, and there'd be no kids for us to work with if you all weren't giving of your time and energy and putting in what you put in with our very special, creative, unchatty, yet wonderful and brilliant teenagers who are struggling through the pandemic just like us. And even though we were tired of Zoom, we still showed up to do the Zoom and help them get through the Zoom as well. So I'll turn it over now to you all if you want to say anything about what you've done this year, what you feel like a funny story you want to share about our times together with the young people.
I think that it's very important, and working with our children and with the youth, especially those who've been through RE and then what they're curious about. I look forward to doing more exploration of that with them and in the areas that they want to know about. So I think that our RE program's done a great job of giving them information, and I look forward to seeing what they want to reflect back or where they want to go.
I mean, this year of RE has been all over the place, but I'm really grateful for the way that it has offered our children a way to be involved in our church. I know with my own boys, I have said, hey, it's time for church. And they went, eh. And I went, but wait, Sean made this curriculum with you guys and these folks in mind. And they're like, oh, for us. I'm like, yeah, because you're part of this. And they're like, oh, then we'll go. I'm like, yes, good. You are a part of this community. And it's hard to see sometimes, but I think we've really taken some great steps in that direction. And Sean, thank you especially, because I know that you are just putting in all the effort and time to get through to these kids and welcome them in. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the families, because it's really hard to get your kids onto Zoom even every other week to do this. And again, you know, we did have a core group of families that supported their kids to be there. And while it's not the group that we might have had pre-pandemic, I still, like Alexa, feel that it was important for them to still feel part of the community. But I'm very grateful to the families that actually made it happen on Sunday afternoons for that, because one of my prime reasons for being the Care Chair Committee is to make sure that whatever kids we have that come on Sunday or whose families, you know, are part of this community, are encouraged to explore their own feelings about spirituality and what it means to even just be a, you know, good person in this world. I remember them all in kindergarten and first and second grade learning the golden rule and how the golden rule applies across all religions. So I'm the one that's always in the like K-3 classroom doing picture books and talking about the golden rule. That's me. My hope is that we can take them through to their senior year where they can think about those things in a, you know, their age appropriate manner.
I think I was really impressed with the dedication of the kids. That really surprised me, because these poor kids are in Zoom meetings for classes all the time. And yet after that, they gave up Sunday afternoons to be in yet another Zoom meeting. You know, sometimes I'm always questioning, you know, exactly what is the benefit of religious education for kids? Because, well, you know, I come out with a quality assurance background in engineering, and I want to know, is what we're doing really working in any way? And it was obvious to me that something is working for these kids to show up and to continue showing up week after week. So, you know, they were getting an obvious benefit from it. And I think one of the benefits they get from it is that they get to talk with adults nearly as peers and have their opinions validated and recognized as though they were actual human beings instead of teenagers. So I think they enjoyed that, and they enjoyed it enough to actually keep showing up. So I do think there was a benefit there. It was a great way to keep them involved with the congregation, and in a way that was some sort of obviously a benefit to them.
And we did it all without donuts.
Yeah, even I showed up without the food. I'm impressed at myself. So I have been thinking a lot about this cost-benefit ratio for delivering religious education, because it takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of effort on many people's parts. But I was reminded of the benefits recently, because as some of you know, I have one of the prior RE kids staying with me right now while he's in community college. He's going to be off to UCLA in a couple months. He was admitted everywhere he applied, but he's chosen UCLA. So he was one of my mentees in the coming of age program, so my second one. And I just look at him and, there isn't a finer young man on earth. And I'd like to think that this RE program had something to do with that. Another prior mentee is just graduating from college from UCLA, as it happens, Parker. And, another really fine person, just remarkable. For me, it's just a great blessing knowing these kids. And I look at the younger kids that way too, because they bring involvement and their opinions and their beliefs and their earnest searching for truth to our RE meetings, and it shows up in everything they say. So I'm just thankful for having been able to be a part of it. I know it's been very difficult for the past year. It's been very difficult for people trying to keep things going and run things and gather everyone together. Particularly difficult. For me, it was easy. I just had to show up and have these great discussions with a bunch of kids once a week or once every 2 weeks. Not bad. I'll keep doing that as long as you want me to.
Say, Paul, you make me excited to spend more time with them.
You can really watch them grow.
Yeah, it's really fun being there over the course of several years, because they change so much.
Well, I really just want to thank you. Some of you may know I got into Unitarian Universalist ministry because of religious education. I grew up in the RE program. My mother was an RE volunteer. Curriculum was field tested on us at home. We got those same lines of, they made this for you. You should show up, and we did show up. And donuts were involved a lot, and you did this all without donuts. But to be honest with you, I would have never made it into a career of Unitarian Universalism if it was just for the adults, because they didn't do anything for me, to be quite honest, up until I was 25. And it was because there were certain people who showed up week after week and learned my name and knew what was important to me, and gave me a place to belong when I didn't always have that, and gave me other people to belong with, helped me figure out who I was and what I stood for and what I believed in, and all of that stuff became incredibly important to me. And really the only reason I stuck around in Unitarian Universalism long enough to fall in love with the other side of it is because I wanted to give that same opportunity to other people who came behind me. And so watching you do that makes all the difference in the world. And I think the congregation is extraordinarily blessed to have your dedication, to have you show up, and to have the kids recognize that they are important.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to love.
I got excited. I'm sorry. Please join with me in reciting these words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Friends, reach out. Take hands in this virtual world that we're a part of and rejoice. Though the world be far from uniformly beneficent or generous, the beauty of humankind is still emerging within each and every one of us, and it is still within us to open courage and care from the bud in our hearts and let it blossom. Know that each new bloom comes only from those who garden good soil and plant good ideals. We may not ever get to see the magnificent bouquet which emerges from all of our efforts, but we get to see what beautiful gardeners that we work with. May this be our blessing, and may we bless the world. Amen.